Hobotango on the left-hand side in red, playing balanced income, playing the 7th Estonians. He's up against the God Emperor on the right-hand side in blue, playing Group Hotnik, the Hungarians, on balanced income. I can't remember who requested the Hungarians, but here we are. Hungarian matchup. So it's balanced versus balanced. Let's have a look at the decks. I'm going to have to bring them up on screen. Just bear with me a moment while I do that. Okay, so we've got the Hungarian deck up on screen. So that is the God Emperor, not Hobotango. I've just got the name wrong on the deck. So this is the God Emperor's deck, the Hungarians. Balanced. One C-phase card of Grenadier DPs, and that's kind of the only C-phase card. So although it's a balanced deck, although it's a balanced income, it doesn't really look like a dedicated balanced deck. I feel like there'd be a couple more C-phase cards. 20 units of tanks. We are on the map Zell, so the tanks perhaps not going to be the absolute most the best unit. We've also got 2 cards of Heinkel 111 H16s in B phase, which is a little bit strange. I feel like one of those could go into C phase, especially given the balanced income, rather than having them both in B phase. I don't expect that all 4 of those will come out in B phase, especially given the card of the BF109 G6 R6. It's a lot of B phase planes to pick from. I think if you're bringing out 4 Heinkel 111s in B phase, you're perhaps neglecting some of the forces on the ground a little bit. So I feel like that card could go on to C phase, and it gives you more Heinkel 111s for C phase. You're on balanced income, you're up against balanced, so calling lots of planes in C phase might definitely be a thing. Okay, over to the right-hand side. Now, the right-hand side, this is Hobotango's deck, and he is playing the 7th Estonian, so I've got the names wrong at the top. So this is Hobotango's deck. He's also playing balanced income. We see a lot different setup here. Lots of C-phase cards. We got a card of C-phase snipers. We've got 2 cards of C-phase infantry. We've got C-phase T-34s, Maxims. Like, this is a full-on balanced deck. We got 8 LA5 FNs and 4 IL-2M3s in C-phase. If this game goes really long, this deck here with the 7th Estonians definitely looks like it's got way more units. So this is really going to outlast the Hungarian deck. I feel like, although having got the names wrong, the Hungarian deck is the God Emperor on the right-hand side. Although he's playing a balanced income, he really needs to get the game done early. I mean, he won't know what he's up against, but from the looks of it, based on the 2 decks, he might struggle a little bit. Let's just get the game underway. So, let me recap after a bit of a dodgy setup to that game. On the left-hand side, in red, we've got Hobotango. He's playing the 7th Estonians on balanced income. On the right-hand side, in blue, we have the God Emperor playing the Group Hotnik on balanced income. And we also make sure the music's turned off. Sorry about that. So, wow, a Pack 40 already down on the ground. I suppose actually that makes sense. It's covering the roads. The Estonians a bit slow into the battlefield up north. No spoilers. Plenty of Panzerschrecks pushing forwards from the God Emperor with the Right Führer and backed up by Right Jaeger. So yeah, the Mantlids being in the slow transports definitely gives the God Emperor opportunity to get this flag back. Usually the player on the left, playing as the red player on the left-hand side, can push a pretty successful attack through onto this flag. But with the slow transports of those ZIS-5Vs, it is meaning that Hobotango cannot make that play. God Emperor bringing his VK901s off the roads. Good choice. They may well go down to the M42 guns there, so keeping them at bay. A very defensive setup. Both players not really pushing that many units down in the south. We've got the 81mm mortar trying to fire on that M42 gun. Yeah, both players have just set up exactly like balanced players would set up in a normal game, really. Dropping off units early, making sure that they don't lose them in transports, and kind of setting up their own lines. The one thing playing balanced against balanced is you have to find a way to break the stalemate. I think Hobotango on the left, given the deck that he's got with all of those C-phase cards, he's definitely going to be happy sitting back throughout this game. And the God Emperor, given the lack of C-phase cards in his deck, despite playing a balanced income, if it was me and I was playing that kind of deck, I'd want to be taking the initiative and pushing an attack early on, trying to get up ahead. If you can get like a 30, even a 13-11 tick, you can hold that for half an hour. Given that you're the same income, there's no income difference, you can just out-trade your opponent. If you can get a 13-11 early and just hold it, you're in such an advantageous position. So if I was God Emperor, I'd definitely be pushing forwards, trying to look for a flag somewhere. Eco 901 from God Emperor trying to push through the edge of the battlefield. Does surprise this M30. It does have heat shells on it though, but it's got to hit its first shot. VK 901 taking ages to fire as well. Does get a hit. Oh! VK 901 does just manage to take out that M30, so that is a good trade from the God Emperor's perspective. He is starting to probe with his infantry. Doesn't really have anything backing them up though, so if they do go down, there's just nothing there to help them out. If they do find something that isn't an infantry unit, it's pretty hard for them to deal with anything. So I think he definitely needs something down here. Like there's two tanks here, a T-34 and a Stug 3G, neither of which is kind of going down to support this southern position. Second VK901 trying to push through the back lines. Both players kind of concentrating on single units right now, or the God Emperor is at least. Does surprise these infantry units may get a number of kills here as they try and cross the road. I think looks like Hobotango's just getting away with it due to the line of sight. No, one of them goes down. And the others do unload. Nice smoke from the Jaeger 81mm. But the KV-1S is going to be really tough to deal with. He does have the Panzerschreck here. That's going to be the important kill for him. If he does kill that KV-1S, I mean, the T-70 can go down to the T-34, but the KV-1S is the big boy up there on top of the hill. Looks like we got the M30 firing off against the T-34, I think with the HE shells, but this engagement on the hill is pretty important right now. The T-70 drops back, starts to fire on the VK901. Turret's stuck. It's distracted Hobotango for long enough. T-34 pushing north to try and deal with the Mustad Mantlid. But the KV-1S pushing back does allow the Panzerschreck to come through unopposed. And that could be a tasty little position for a Panzerschreck kill onto the KV-1S. Stug 3G in now, so the God Emperor, I think, is definitely concentrating on this centre hill. Panzerguns down south obviously were spotted by the Maxims and are pinned down. Again, like I say, just no supporting unit to take down that Maxim. Okay, looks like the T-70 and T-34 might engage here. Panzerschreck moving up through the forest. Looks like the T-34 did go down up north to the M30. Pack 40 getting involved, hitting the infantry where it can see them. I think it was kind of unlucky it didn't get a side shot on that KV-1S. Might have been out of range, actually. Yeah, it was probably just out of range as it was reversing there. So the God Emperor does pick up that central hill and establishes the 13-11 lead. Like I said, if he can hold that 13-11, he's just got to hold it for 30 minutes. Doesn't really have to worry about income. So as far as the God Emperor is concerned right now, he just has to trade better than Hobotango and he can win the game. VK901's trying to rush forward. I think that's got to be the last two VK901s in the deck. Yeah. Oh, no, this will be the last one. You only get 5 of those in A phase. So that's it for those small little recon tanks. AV-1S going to engage the T-34, easily pick up the kill there, no problems with that. Might be nice to get the Slug 3G into this kind of position so he can fire on the reinforcement road, although he's got 3 KV-1s now going into that centre position. That'll make 4 KV-1s in that centre area. That is just going to be so tough to push through. T-70 engaging the VK901s at range and the M42 gun coming up. Those VK901s are going to go down any moment now. And it looks like we have more pushing into the south now. More pushing into the centre as well. Slug 3G at range and destroy the KV-1s. Slug 3G has the advantage at range against this KV-1S. So should be happy to slug it out. I mean, there are a number of KV-1s there, so eventually, you know, the Slug 3G is going to go down, but how many went down there? I think that was, what, 3? I'm sure there were 3 coming in there, so 2. It only looks like there's 1... No, yeah, 2 KV-1s went down there. I wasn't actually looking at the whole engagement. So that's a nice trade. Losing 1 Slug for 2 KVs. I think anybody would be happy with that trade. Here comes the push on the south. Finally, we've got some support from the Slug 3G. That can take care of the Maxim. Also doesn't have to worry too much against the M42 gun unless it's real close range. The supporting infantry units can do the same. They can kind of deal with the M42 gun. Reinforcing the centre hill. This looks like it's kind of gearing up to be a hell of a slugfest between these two players. And right now, that's going to benefit Hobotango more than it is the God Emperor, just because of the deck depth that Hobo has in his deck. God Emperor secures another flag on the south, 14-10. He's really got a good opportunity down here. And I think he is going to lose that centre flag. Slug's gone down. The Reiter Jaeger are just opposed by so many of these Estonian infantry units. There's just no way that the God Emperor is kind of going to hold on to that centre position. Right, this might be an important engagement here. The M42 gun is going to fire on the VK901. Yeah, the VK901 goes down. You kind of wanted the VK901 to destroy the M42 gun, but the Slug 3G still can do it. It's just going to be really dangerous right now. Surprising there are no planes so far, just as 2 planes enter into the battlefield. LA5N might get a Heinkel kill here. There's no real AA on the battlefield. God Emperor is in dangerous territory right now. Especially if this... Oh, the Heinkel, I think, is bound to go down. Apologies to the LA5N now. There it goes. That's a big loss for the God Emperor. He did kind of stop the pushback. There's just too many infantry units in there for the God Emperor to kind of destroy. And Hobotango reigns supreme, at least in the skies right now. But 13-11, still to God Emperor. He has 27 minutes to pick up the victory. Pack 40s firing down below on the T-70s, but they're in quite dangerous position now, yeah. The 45 mil was that. Pack 184 goes down, and the Pack 40 is now going to be exposed to all this infantry fire on the edge of the forest, and that goes down as well. So the God Emperor's really in quite a bit of trouble right now. Although he's secured this centre hill, just the number of Estonian units coming back at him is almost too much to deal with. And for Hobotango, it's just kind of a case of throwing like the traditional kind of stereotypical Russian response, really, isn't it? Although these are Estonians. Just throw bodies. Just throw pure numbers at the enemy player. And eventually it will stick. That kind of seems like the strategy so far, and it looks to be at least fighting his way back into this game after some early losses. Both players seem to mostly be microing in the southern area. The right Jaeger do get surrendered. Yeah, and just 4 infantry units down here are going to be in a lot of trouble. Looks like the Stug went down. I didn't catch the engagement. There was an M42 gun in this area, so that obviously went down. There was also a T70 that went down, but it looks like the Stug possibly got destroyed by the 2 reinforcing M42 guns. And it just looks like the God Emperor is struggling to kind of keep pace with the number of units coming in from Hobotango. I feel like I don't think he's traded any worse. In fact, I probably would say he's traded better than Hobotango right now. It's just pure numbers coming in here. The God Emperor's been wasting his armor. I think I think that's probably where his worst trades have been so far, his armor engagements. He brought in quite a few VK901s that have gone down. He's lost 5 of those, and he's lost a couple of Stugs as well. Yeah, I lost a VK901 and a Stug down here. So I think he was too aggressive with his tanks. Like, the Stug could have sat much further back. Kind of around this position, engaged at full long range, and he could have just had an infantry unit sat in that building and then slowly reinforced this position. Maybe get a support gun in here, like a MG42. Maybe got a pack gun in the forest back here, and really set up a better defense. Whereas I think what he did do is push his Stug forwards, and then it was just too close to the enemy. And they were able to bring in M42 guns. Both players have a hell of a lot of infantry now in the centre positions. Hobotango has the double 82mm mortars. There are 2 mortars from the God Emperor. He now brings in a supply truck. We'll see whether there's any counter battery comes either player's way. M2 Commander onto the field. Hiding under the top. Comes in to upvet those mortars, and wouldn't be surprised if some AA comes into that position as well. Here comes one of the first long-range bombers. What's the loadout on this? 3 1,000 kilogram bombs, so that's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. I'm not sure he knows exactly what he's firing on. Ooh, might get shot down by the BF-109. Ooh, takes out quite a few infantry units. BF-109. Ooh, actually, the BF-109 is going to have to call off that pursuit. Otherwise, it's going to go down to the LA-5N. In fact, the God Emperor doesn't call it away. I think that was a mistake. He's trying to get him over the AA, but I think he's going to go down before the AA gets into position. The LA5FM might go down. No, because... No. So a big trade to Hobotango there. Picks up the bomber strike. And then the BF-109 kill. Without losing the planes. I think all trades in the sky so far have gone to Hobotango's side. He pushes forwards, picks up the flag in the centre and gets the 13-11 lead. Again, we have a Marder 2 in, I think, too far forwards. It's right on the edge of the front line here with nothing in front of it. I know we have an Urzat Stupid on the way in now, but it just doesn't need to be in that position. It'd be better off down here in the light, kind of light forest. It's just too far. It's too close to the front line. It's in too exposed of a position. And these Panzer 3Ns as well, kind of coming too far forwards. So yeah, I think the observation earlier, Belaltix was correct. Just too kind of aggressive with the armor, I think, from the God Emperor, and too not careful enough about the armored units. I don't think the other engagements have been too bad. I think he is losing out in the armored engagements a little bit. Panzer 3Ns might just get away from this KV-1S in time. Yep. Okay. Now calls in the Stug 3G. Tough for him to deal with the number of units, though. Really needs his support weaponry to come in and help him out. Both players, though, both balanced players, setting up for the long haul. 12-12 now. God Emperor's picked up this flag again. Looks like he has invested in some... are these the captured French howitzers? Yeah, they are. Love these units. Fantastic. Has invested some to do some counter battery onto the mortars. One of them has gone down. But the guns are silent for now. Looks like we have another... I would have thought there'd be a bomber coming in anytime soon. Perhaps the LA5N's sort of scouting for air engagements. No, coming in to try and strafe the infantry. He calls that one away. I think he is just going to get out of there. God Emperor could do with kind of upbetting these AA units, getting them a little bit closer. Where's he going with them? Okay, he is trying to protect his northern area. Yeah, kind of in that position, but could do with upvetting them as well. Because I think upvetted, these SDKF-Z71s could do a huge amount of work. He's spreading them out. Okay, I mean... that's interesting orders. He's kind of having them roam around the back. From the looks of it. Which I kind of don't agree with. Because it could just expose them. Like, unnecessarily. But I kind of understand in that case they are avoiding counter battery. But I feel like that's a bit unnecessary. And also, you want to be upvetting these, really. I mean, 2 of these upvetted would kill an IL-2M3. But here we have a double IL-2M3 cluster strike coming in after the T-34. Yeah, should get the kill. Yep, does so. BF-109 might shoot it down. Yes, does get the kill. And the IL-2M3 coming after the Marder. A little bit of overkill. Doesn't really need a cluster plane to destroy the Marder, but happy to have the kill. BF-109 should get out of there, given the SDKF-71's providing the coverage. Panzer 3N's in a dangerous position, though. Yeah, I mean, even the Pioneers are throwing the satchel chargers. The M42 gun does go down. Ooh, I think that was KV-1 from the top of the hill. And that Panzer 3N is just in such a bad position right now. Ooh, Hobotango backing off with the KVs. Kind of giving the... I think he saw the Stug 3G there and decided to back away. But that Panzer 3N is kind of in no man's land right now. Hobotango has the 1311. He's recaptured this centre flag. The right Jaegers pushing forwards once again. Exchanging a... Oh, and we get a strafing run in from the BF-109 G6 R6. Hobotango could do with some AA around his commander. Ooh, Stug 3G does make it up onto the hill. He's facing 2 KV-1s. I mean, we did see earlier the Stug 3G can fight KV-1s, but that's at range. This is around 800 meters. Still has the advantage, but the KV-1S can get the kills at that range a lot more easily. Ooh, BF-109 does go down behind enemy lines. Was that to the rear gunner on that YER2? It looked like he went down to some kind of... That must have been the rear gunner. That is very rare to see a rear gunner get a plane kill. It's kind of nice to see, actually. And what was I saying about the KV-1s? Yeah, ignore me. Stug 3G 2v1s quite easily. In fact, let's just check. Yeah, it doesn't even suffer that much damage at all. I don't even think it's taken a hit. Looks like it did take at least one hit. Oh, and another BF-109. No, is there AA back? Ah, there is. Okay, so it probably was the AA. Hobotango is still 13-11 up. I mean, just look at his overwhelming presence on the southern side. And he has a decent amount of units in the centre. And he's not really struggling for units in the north either. I feel like the centre portion of this game, the last 10 minutes, Hobotango has definitely been trading much better than the God Emperor. LA5FN does go down to the SDKFZ 7-1. Roaming about the back lines. That's just interesting. I've never really seen anyone do that before. IL-2M coming in for the cluster plane drop onto the Panzer 3N. Should get the kill. No problems, really. Also, and yeah, should get out against the SDKFZ 7-1. Who's that stupid will go down at close range. And Hobotango's really in a dominant position on this in pretty much most of the battleground now. He's got 27 minutes though, and 13-11 up. He can afford to just sit back, hold the victory. Belaltic's severe lack of bombing from God Emperor. Yeah, I feel like he definitely needs to use his Air Force to help out with the infantry fights. The one problem with that is he did lose that Heinkel earlier in the game. And I think he's lost a couple of BF-109s. He definitely could do with more planes, but I think he's also caught in a position where he's trying to reinforce the ground forces that he's got. And so he can't really afford a bomber right now. But I think a bomber would be more helpful. It's kind of a catch-22. He needs to reinforce his front line, but he also kind of... A bomber would really help him out in the infantry engagements. But he kind of can't afford one because he's reinforcing the front line. It's a tough position to be in, really tough position to be in. But his infantry units just keep coming forward, kind of suppressed and having to retreat. And yeah, Dark Jip, you're right. Hobotango just in a dominant position right now. And really, I think he could secure this game. He is sitting back. He's got the 13-11. Here comes the Heinkel 111 H16. So maybe the God Emperor heard us. Another IL-2M3 coming in to try and hit the Stug 3G. Picks up the kill. BF-109 G6 R6 chasers. I think he will get the kill here. Yeah, does so. Will that BF-109 stay alive? Does get called away. No fighters coming in on it, and I think it will avoid the 37 mil. So he should stay alive. The Heinkel does come in. Didn't quite see the damage, but it has allowed the God Emperor to get back into the center position. But knowing the decks in advance, knowing what the God Emperor is up against, this game going longer and longer and longer just benefits Hobotango more and more and more. So Hobotango even being like 13-11, 14-10 down right now, I don't think he would be that displeased. He just needs to run the clock as long as possible and basically just bleed out the God Emperor over time, and he can win the game. He's just got such a deep deck. Really, the God Emperor, although, you know, he wouldn't have known it. He wouldn't have known the exact deck that Hobotango was running against, or he was running against, but he's kind of... He needed an early push and an early gain of a significant number of flags, just based on the two decks that we saw at the start of the game. And really, even at 12-12, even if the God Emperor trades like 2 for 1, just because of the depth of Hobotango's deck, I feel like he's going to lose the game. But he does have the 12-12. Never say never. He can push. There's always a way. There's always a way. Looks like a resurgent push back from Hobotango into the centre. He is going to be able to get through the right Jaeger MP44 just with the number of units that he's got. Does have the Tanko, or the Tanky Descent Ulem leader with them. Yeah, lack of those Heinkel 111s in C phase could be starting to hurt the God Emperor. We're now well into C phase. I mean, he could have bought extra Heinkel 111s and just continue to try bombing everything that he sees. Hobotango picks up this center flag. I feel like it's just going to be this center flag that kind of wins the game. Neither player really concentrating on anything else apart from this center flag, really. I'm kind of surprised we aren't seeing a little bit more artillery on either side as well. Bearing in mind the game is like 29 minutes long now. We do see quite a number of mortar units. And we do see the FKs starting to get into action. Here comes another Heinkel. So I think the God Emperor is now starting to kind of use his aircraft much more liberally. In comes the LA-5FN, and it might go down there. Remember, Hobotango has a full card of C-phase fighters, so he can chase kills like that all day long. And even if he loses this LA-5FN, which he might do, although I think it's going to make it back based on the way the planes are turning, and the fact that he does have an AA back here, that, yeah, the BF-109 won't catch him now. He can afford to chase those Heinkel kills all day long. He's got an extra 8 fighters just in C-phase, and that BF-109 might be in trouble now because there are two-star 37 mils that he's going to fly very close to. Yep, it's smoking, and I think it's going to go down. This is a bit of... Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. So another trade that goes towards Hobotango in the skies. And I feel like the God Emperor's best bet is his bombers, but he's just losing plane after plane right now. Hobotango is wearing him down. IL-2M3, first one's not going to make it in. Will the second one? Looks like it will do. Just going after Panzer 3N. Does get the kill. Actually, this one might go down, yeah, to the double SDKF 7-1. But again, he has a full C-phase card of those, so he can still afford to lose some. Just a single right Jaeger left in this centre forest as more infantry get pushed in. This is a grind fest for sure. Now the mortars start getting into the action as well. Man, this forest is going to be littered with dead bodies after this game is out. T-34s push up onto the hill, but faced with the Churchills, the M42 guns, those T-30... Yeah, and even this one down here. God Emperor thinks better of it, pushing the Tiger up, and yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not really surprised. Ooh, some T-26s coming in now. So they're going to go long into the battlefield. Is that going to be the main unit that Hobotango uses to try and push forwards with? God Emperor pushing forwards again with his Grenadier DPs. I do like the way that Hobotango's kind of just leaving one unit there and pushing the remainder units back. He doesn't need to leave all of his units here, especially given that a bombing strike or mortars or artillery could come in kind of any moment. You just leave one unit protecting the flag, wait for the enemy to push back in again, and then once you lose the flag, just exactly like now, just push forwards again. So yeah, there you go. He's not going to lose 3 units to a Heinkel strike. He would only use that single unit. So there is good tactics there. And down goes another Heinkel. Is that every single Heinkel now? There was only 4 in the God Emperor's deck. I think I've seen 3 go down. I'm not 100% sure whether I've seen all 4 go down. That's the last one. Okay. That is the last. I'm informed that is the last one. Churchill's pushing around. I don't think it will trouble the Tiger too much. But there is a lot in here now. I mean, just so many units. So many units. The Tiger's just going to be overwhelmed with the number of units. And it might get a side shot exposed. It might, you know, have its side armor exposed. Just destroy the BA-20. Bounces to Churchill. I think head on it should be okay. Looks like the T-34 is coming around for a side shot though. All of these... Oh, and here comes the cluster plane. It is going to make it through. The AA is out of position because of the kind of micro of pushing them up and down. They're kind of out of position at the worst possible time. Tiger goes down to the IL-2M3. LA-5M will probably go down here, yeah. But there's so many of those LA-5Ns, it doesn't really matter to Hobotango. I think that is the main problem with doing this kind of strategy of moving your AA around. At the worst possible moment, they were out of position. They weren't able to protect that Tiger. Whereas leaving them like back here or here, they would have been able to protect that unit. And you need to protect those ground units. Here comes a column of T-26Es. Proper Soviet style. Dodging all the destroyed hulks. One after the other. As they proceed into the battlefield. Love it. Oh my days. Hobotango pushing forward successfully. The Tiger going down was a big kill. Should be able to secure this flag pretty easily. 12-12 still. The God Emperor did manage to pull this flag back. Hobotango looking like he is making a push up north as well. 35 minutes into this game, Hobotango re-establishes the 13-11. And based on what's on the ground, should win this game. I mean, you never know, but if you're a betting man, I think everyone would be betting on Hobotango right now. Ooh, this could be a tasty strike. No, he's going after the Slug 3G. Missing a trick there. There's 3 tanks. Ooh, does survive. I think this is going to go down. Where's the AA? I think the AA has gone down. Yeah, the AA has gone down. No more AA. And Hobotango now has free reign in the skies. T-26s trying to engage Stugs at long range. Don't even think the weight of fire is going to help them here. There's no way they're going to lose to those Stugs. It's just how long it takes the Stugs to kill them. They might actually get suppressed. Oh, one of them does go down. Just so much HE fire coming at them, or damage. I mean, I guess that was 6 T-26Es. So at 20 points each, that was what? 120 points to destroy one 80-point Stug? So in terms of value... still not worth it. Still not worth it. T-26 is up close and deadly. Against a lot of things, yeah. But not always. But not always. Yeah, just too much kind of in the south for the God Emperor to push back against. Does re-establish control of this flag, but he isn't gonna keep it because he isn't gonna be able to reinforce this position. Losing this town here, this was his main avenue of reinforcement, so there's no real way for him to reinforce that position. Hobotango 13-11 up, BF-109 G6 RSIC goes down behind enemy lines there. We see some more F-22s now onto the battlefield. We see some Churchills down south and another column of T-26 up north. Pushing forwards. Oh, it just makes me laugh. Oh, Sub 3Gs will pick up the surrender of the Lascarid. And the anti-tank rifle shouldn't bother them too much. God Emperor has pushed back into this town pretty well. The T-26s all went down. Even as long as that AT rifle's focused on the frontal armor, it shouldn't bother to Stug too much. But they get side shots, could hamper the Stug. Hobotango, like I said, has free reign of the skies right now. I'm pretty sure... I reckon all of the BF... well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of those BF-109s have gone down as well. We see another long-range bomber coming in, and this BF-109 is going to go for the kill, but I think it's going to go down. I think that's... it's going to go down to these 37 mils, yeah. And it just means that the God Emperor's... I think he's probably out of BF-109s now. I think he only had 3 in his deck. Let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah, wrong one. He had 6. Okay, so he did have 6. He had 6 ME-109s. He had 2 cards. So he might still have a couple of ME-109s left, but... a lot of them have gone down. Hobotango 1410 does pick up this southern flag and the one in the centre. 8 minutes left on the clock. Well, he briefly got a 15-9 there. So I think he will re-establish a 15-9 fairly soon. The column of T-26Es on the way. There is just a Stug 3G to kind of defeat. I think all of those will defeat it eventually. But a lot of them will go down. I think Hobotango is probably going to re-establish control of this flag. Eventually, but we've got, what, 16 more minutes. He's really just continued to just look at the number of units that Hobotango has in comparison to the God Emperor right now. Just so many units. I don't really feel like the God Emperor's played badly as well. I think he did lose a lot of his tanks. This is a Division 3 game. This is a Division 3 game. He did lose a few of his tanks. I think he's lost a few too many tanks in unfortunate positions. And yeah, this flak might go down as well. Bearing in mind the Stug's just gone down from that position. But I don't think he's like played awfully. I don't want to kind of get into the realm of toxicity and saying that the God Emperor is not a great player. I just think he was kind of looking at the two decks and a balanced versus balanced. He was really at a disadvantage from the very start. He had to make a kind of breakthrough early on. And because he didn't, it was just all going to go in Hobotango's favour. He was just up against it based on the two decks. He has lost some tanks in unfortunate circumstances, but really the game just going so long has just destroyed any hope that he had. And I think in that first 10 minutes, he definitely traded better than Hobotango. And it wasn't until the mid part of the game, really, when Hobotango started to push back up onto this hill, that Hobotango started out trading the God Emperor. So early on into the game, I think the God Emperor was trading better than Hobotango, but I just think the game, he kind of lost the middle portion, he lost the pushback, and from then on, the decks kind of took over, and Hobotango's just got so much on the field now. It's just impossible. It's pretty impossible for the God Emperor to kind of push back at this point. He's pushing against a deck that has so much more stuff in it. He'd have to probably trade at maybe 10-1 right now to win this game, which I don't even think Gonzo would be able to do. I think if you gave Gonzo the God Emperor's positioning right now against Hobotango, I don't think Gonzo will be able to win this. It's not kind of a case of player skill at this point. I think he's just completely outdone based on what's out on the ground. 10-1, yeah, I agree. About 10-1. Oh, you wouldn't say 10-1. You say 5-6-1. Okay, yeah, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it makes for good viewing. This game seems to come down to deck meta more than gameplay to me. The deck choices in Steel Division League make a really big... They are a really big part of the game. Like, skill in the players is a huge part as well. But your choice of units in the deck does matter. It's not like if you put Gonzo, like I can't beat Gonzo. I cannot beat Gonzo. I'm just not good enough. I've never beaten him, and I just would be doubtful that I could beat Gonzo. So player skill definitely matters. It's clear that player skill matters, because if it didn't, then, you know, give me the right deck and I could beat Gonzo. I don't think I could. I think you could give Gonzo, you know, as long as it was a decent deck, you could give him anything and he will probably beat me. But at the same time, decks do matter. So, and especially in Steel Division League, because the way they structure it, you know, these divisions, this is a Division 3 match, so the players are supposed to be fairly equal in skill. You know, in Division 3, you've only got players that are supposed to be fairly equal in skill. So therefore, in Steel Division League games, the deck choices matter even more than in general games. If you're entering quick play and ranked queue and you're just, you know, you're up against random divisions, then decks matter, but also player skill definitely matters as well. But in the Steel Division League, because the players are put into divisions, you know, they are supposed to be fairly equally skilled players, so that kind of equals up the skill component, and then that means that the deck choices do matter even more so. Reef, it's impossible to trade 10-1. Just when trading 2-1, you are completely outplaying your opponent. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It is really hard to trade more than 2-1. I mean, when you think about it, when we watch kind of Gonzo and the top players like Gonzo, Abaz, and Nila, all of the Division 1 players like Amber T, Robert, Karma, Sean, they don't trade 2 to 1. Like, you don't see 4,000 kills to 2,000 losses. It's really rare. So yeah, trading more than 2 to 1 is incredible. It's very rare we ever see a Steel Division League game where a player has traded greater than 2 to 1. When you think about it, most of the time, I think the last match we played was Robert versus Fitz, and Robert won that game fairly, successfully, fairly well, fairly dominantly, and I think his kills was 1,700 to 1,400. So let's see whether I can actually work out what that is. Yeah, that's 1.2 to 1. And that was a fairly dominant game. So I guess that does show the difference in kind of trading like 2 to 1. Wasn't it 800 to 2,000? No, I think that was a different game. I think that was the Gonzo versus Jack game. $14:10, 6 minutes left on the clock. 47 minutes 50. I mean, the God Emperor's not giving up. I'll give him that. He's not giving this game up. So full marks for effort. Let's take a nice, beautiful look at the IL-2M3 flying its way into the battlefield. Heading for the Martyrs. Ooh, 2 kills. Circling its way back. And out. And out again. No opposition. No opposition. I feel like the God Emperor is fully out of planes now. Oh! Oh! Just as we say that. Just as we say that. Hi, FMO. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back. It's been a long time. Ankle 111 drops. Should tape out the Lascudid. Oh, actually, that did like nothing. Was that like 2 HP? That was a bad drop from that Heinkel. Thank you for the follow Twitch setup tool. Is that a real person? That feels like that's a bot to me. Hope you had a good break. Thanks, FMO. Yeah, I had a much needed break. That's for sure. There's been times lately where I've felt like I still need a break. 15-9 to Hobotango now. Puts the timer in half. 2 minutes left on the clock as a swarm of planes coming into the battlefield. IL-2M3 going to dispatch the final Marder down in the south. Kind of surprised they didn't go after the Stub 3G. Oh, I suppose it is crew killed. It is crew killed. Marder taken down. There is still a 20 mil in the area, although it's not really going to be like swatting flies right now. Not really doing too much damage. Look at all these T-26Es just sat in the tree lines. One minute left on the clock. God Emperor brings in a Reiter Führer towards the end. He'll sneak back a flag, gives himself a little bit more time. I'm not sure he's really going to be able to utilise that time. Hobotango now pushing forwards in the north. And there's just no stopping him. God Emperor surrenders. 50 minutes, 57 seconds. Congratulations to Hobotango. 6,380 kills to 4,050 losses. A lot of units died in that match. Let's have a look at the kills. The M42 gun, picking up the VK901 kills early on. And the M30 that traded equally with the VK901 there as well. KV-1S, you know, those VK901s were kind of possibly could have given the God Emperor an opportunity to push forwards, but it wasn't to be. Look at these Mustad Mantled. Just the number of infantry kills and unit kills from those units there. And they really helped Hobotango get back into the game. Because he was down at that point. The long-range bomber taking care of a few units. It did get the rear gunner kill on the BF-109 G6R6. It's really strange to see those kind of kills. IL-2M3 picked up the Marder 1 and the Tiger kill when that was unsupported by AA. Churchill 4 actually dispatched the 2 AA units. That was a harsh loss. A harsh loss. Another Churchill 4 dispatching a number of units, including the Tiger E. Yeah, and by this time it was all over. God Emperor, the early MG42. I'm not exactly sure where that unit was, actually. I feel like it might have been in the south. Not 100% sure. It does pick up a few kills. I mean, if you look at the early kills, God Emperor is picking up a, 2-to-1 in a few areas. The right Jaeger here with the initial kills. SDKF said 7-1 did shoot down 2 planes. BF-109 took out a few as well. Look at how many planes have gone down. And then just remember back to the end when Hobotango had about 5 planes in the sky supporting every bomber that he brought in. Group Hartnick does suffer from a lack of AA, so the God Emperor definitely suffered in that game. Definitely suffered in that game. Another LA5N going down. Stuck 3G dispatching those columns of T26s. That was just wonderful to see. Wonderful to see. There we have it. 50 minutes, 57 seconds.